The morning began like any other in the quiet valley on Earth's northern frontier. The sky was a soft silver. Birds sang from the trees, and the faint hum of distant machinery echoed from the power fields across the horizon. Ethan Blake, a retired engineer who once worked on orbital platforms, sat on his porch sipping from a steaming mug. His old companion, Max, a golden retriever with a graying muzzle, had gone missing 3 nights earlier. Ethan had searched the nearby woods, called every neighbor, and even used a drone scanner to track heat signatures, but nothing. It was as if the dog had vanished into thin air. He had almost accepted the loss when a rustle in the forest made him turn. The trees parted, and there came Max, tail wagging, tongue lolling, muddy paws hitting the ground in excitement. Ethan stood, relief flooding his chest. But then his breath caught. Someone or something walked beside the dog. She was humanoid but not human. Her skin shimmered faintly like silver dust under sunlight. Her eyes glowed softly, pupils wide and liquid blue. She was dressed in a strange translucent material that seemed to repair itself as she moved, woven with faintly glowing lines. And Max was walking right beside her, brushing against her leg with the kind of affection he usually reserved for family. Ethan blinked, mouth open, his mind grasping for logic in the face of something that defied it. Max ran forward, barking joyfully, and she followed him slowly, gaze curious and cautious. Ethan set down his mug carefully on the railing. His heart thudded once, twice, then steadied. He had seen many things during his years in space engineering, unexplained phenomena, cosmic anomalies, but never something that walked straight into his yard. When they reached the porch, the girl stopped. Max nudged her knee, tail still wagging. She tilted her head, then spoke. Her voice was melodic, uncertain, but gentle. "Is this home?" she asked. Ethan blinked. "For me, yes. For him too, apparently." He pointed at Max, who barked once as if agreeing. "But you're a new face around here." She looked down at the dog.
"He found me."
"He brought me here." Ethan motioned for her to sit on the bench. "Let's start with the basics. You got a name?" She hesitated, searching for words. "I am called Lyra." "All right, Lyra, you can call me Ethan." He crouched beside Max, rubbing his head. "You really went out and brought back a friend, huh, boy?" Max barked again, tail sweeping the air. Ethan studied Lyra more closely. Her features were delicate but strong, her movements precise. Her breathing was steady but shallow, as though she was adapting to the air. A faint pulse of light moved beneath her skin at intervals like bioluminescence. He realized she was trying to regulate her environment at a cellular level. "Where did you come from?" he asked. She looked toward the forest, eyes distant. "I came from the sky. My craft broke apart. I would have perished, but he found me. He guarded me from the night, from the cold." Ethan turned to Max in disbelief. "You did all that?" Max barked again, wagging as if proud. Lyra smiled faintly. He shared warmth. "When predators came, he stood before me. He never left." Ethan felt a lump form in his throat. He had always known Max was loyal, but this was something beyond instinct. It was compassion across species. He brought them inside. Lyra studied everything. The wood walls, the soft light, the hum of the fridge, with awe. Ethan fetched her some water. She hesitated before drinking, then closed her eyes in relief. "It tastes clean," she said softly. "Lucky for you, Earth still has a few good springs left." Ethan leaned against the counter. "So your ship's wrecked, huh? Any chance of it being repaired?" She shook her head. "It is gone. Only fragments remain." Ethan sighed. "Well, you're stranded then. But you're safe here." Days passed. Ethan kept Lyra's presence secret. He knew what the world would do if it found her. Humanity's curiosity often turned to control. So he kept her hidden in the cabin and worked quietly to learn what she needed. Lyra recovered quickly. Her body absorbed sunlight as nourishment, though she also learned to eat small portions of fruit and bread. Max stayed by her side constantly. If Ethan went to the workshop, Max went too, but only if Lyra followed. The two were inseparable. One evening, Ethan sat watching them by the fireplace. Lyra was tracing the lines of Max's fur with fascination. "He feels alive in a way that reminds me of home," she murmured. Ethan smiled faintly. "Dogs have that effect. They love without needing reason." Lyra nodded slowly. "On my world, bonds are calculated. Emotional attachment is seen as a weakness. But he taught me something different." "What's that?" "That loyalty is not weakness. It is strength. Ethan looked into the fire, thoughtful. You're wiser than most people I know. She tilted her head. And you protect me, though you do not know me. Why? Because Max trusts you, Ethan said simply. And that's good enough for me. Outside, the sky burned with streaks of light. A meteor shower, or perhaps something else. Lyra watched it with quiet dread. They will come, she whispered. Not my people, others. Ethan turned. Others? She nodded. The ones who shot us down. They will scan for the wreck. If they find it, they will not stop there. Ethan felt the weight of her words settle in. Then we'd better make sure they don't. The next morning he began preparing. He repaired the old shield generator he had built years ago for testing atmospheric interference. It was crude, but it could distort heat signatures. He also connected his drone to patrol the perimeter. Lyra helped, her touch guiding the circuits with precision. She understood technology instinctively, her mind moving faster than his eyes could follow. As the sun dipped, she looked at him. Why do you help me so freely? Ethan smiled. Because a man should never ignore someone who helped his dog. That made her laugh, a soft musical sound. Max wagged his tail, pleased with himself. Night fell. The forest grew silent. Then the ground trembled faintly. Ethan felt it through the floorboards. Lyra froze, her eyes brightening. They are here. He grabbed his rifle, a plasma model from his days at the research station. How many? 2 scouts. They will sense my energy. Ethan positioned himself near the door. Max growled low, fur bristling. Lyra stepped forward, raising her hands slightly. The air shimmered around her as if bending. A faint blue field formed surrounding the cabin. Stay inside, she said. Ethan shook his head. Not happening. Outside, 2 dark figures descended from the tree line, metallic armor reflecting moonlight. Their movements were sharp, efficient. One raised a scanning device. The other aimed a weapon. Lyra stepped into the open. The scanner lit up instantly, locking on her signal. Target located, a mechanical voice said. Before the other could fire, Max leaped forward with a snarl. The creature swung its weapon, but the dog was too fast. He clamped onto its arm, pulling it off balance. Ethan fired, a plasma bolt striking the creature's chest. Sparks exploded and it fell back, twitching. The second raised its gun toward Lyra. She moved like light itself, her hand striking the weapon. Energy rippled outward, disabling it. With a gesture, she sent a pulse that pushed the invader back into the trees. Silence followed, save for the hum of her field fading. Ethan ran out, kneeling by Max. The dog was panting but unhurt. He looked up at Lyra, who stood trembling. Are you okay? He asked. She nodded slowly. It is done. For now. Ethan took her hand without thinking. Then we'll make sure they don't come back. From that night on, they fortified the place together. Lyra's knowledge, combined with Ethan's engineering, transformed the cabin into something extraordinary. The walls absorbed sound. The perimeter shimmered with cloaked sensors. Max served as both companion and early warning. They became a team, human, alien, and dog, united by survival and trust. Months passed. Winter came. Snow covered the forest. The 3 of them shared the warmth of the fire and the quiet comfort of each other's presence. Lyra learned to laugh more. Ethan found himself smiling more often than he had in years. The loneliness that once haunted the cabin faded away. One evening, Lyra looked at the snow outside. My people will not find me now, she said softly. The signal is gone, Ethan nodded slowly. Maybe that's for the best. She turned to him. Do you wish I had not come? He shook his head. You gave Max a reason to be brave again. You gave me something to protect again. I'd say that's worth more than peace. Her eyes softened. Then I'm glad he found me. As the seasons turned, Ethan noticed subtle changes in her. Her glow dimmed slightly, her energy stabilizing. She was adapting to Earth's biosphere. She was becoming something in between, a bridge between 2 worlds. Max followed her everywhere still, older now but filled with that same boundless love. Then one dawn, a distant rumble echoed through the valley. A massive vessel entered the atmosphere, its shadow blotting the sky. Ethan and Lyra stepped outside, shielding their eyes. The ship bore no weapon markings. It hovered silently, scanning the terrain. Lyra's expression was unreadable. That is my people's rescue craft. Ethan looked at her quietly. So they found you after all. She nodded slowly. They will take me back. It is law. Max whimpered softly, pressing against her leg. She knelt, hugging him. You are more than a creature. You are proof that kindness exists in every corner of the stars. Ethan clenched his fists. You don't have to go if you don't want to. She looked at him with sorrow. If I stay, they will see it as rebellion. They will return with force. Your world would suffer. Ethan sighed heavily. Then I guess this is goodbye. The ship's light descended, enveloping her in a silver,